In this video right here, we're gonna go over the top 10 hardest, most difficult, and toughest Bob Ross paintings to paint along to. If you're a brand new painter, steer clear of this list, or if you think you got the confidence, this is a great list for anyone out there looking for a challenge. Here we go. Oh man, we have such a doozy of a video, but I first want to say hello to all you awesome people, and I need to get some ground rules out of the way. When I crafted my personal top 10 hardest Bob Ross paintings, I need to let you know I excluded some things. First of all, I excluded all the paintings that are done by Bob's guests that aren't landscape paintings. So gone is the face or anything with flowers, and I also excluded any of the contact paper paintings. Why, you ask? Because a lot of you don't have access to contact paper, and I feel like it's unfair if you want to try one of the paintings on this list and can't get the materials. And I also limited the number of paintings that require to have a building or a cabin. Why for that? Because if I didn't do that, most of the recommendations on this list would be like 85% cabins and buildings. And I feel like that's not fun. I did my list a little bit different. It's all gonna be the hardest elements from Bob Ross, which you'll see with the titles that'll come up here momentarily. And I think you'll appreciate that more if you want to try something you really suck at or want to improve at. Also, if you want to know where any of these videos are, in the bottom corner, I will always put what season and episode you can find it from. Plus, I will do my best to link everything down below. Now, without further ado, here we go with the top 10 hardest Bob Ross paintings. You won't believe how long it took me to nail that intro. Number 10, two seasons. Season 16, Episode 1. The reason this one's on the list is because it's simply two paintings in one. If you're a new painter out there, you most likely struggle painting a single decent painting from Bob. Well, you're screwed because in this one, he's asking you to paint two landscapes on one canvas. How dare Bob? Two seasons is difficult for the sheer reason that you have to do two paintings, which means you're going to use more color and more paint. You're gonna have to switch more often between your colors, which is gonna lead to more mud mixing and color contamination. Plus, you're gonna double your brush cleaning, which, as we know, is the worst part about painting. Overall, the landscape in this painting isn't that tough. In fact, I would say it's actually a great painting to practice to grow and hone your skills, which is why this one is only at number 10. Number 9, Brown Mountain, Season 2, Episode 11. This is your hardest color on color painting. This tutorial doesn't look too misleading at first, but it will sneak up on you fast. The clouds are two-toned with gray and white. You want to build stormy clouds in this painting. However, most new painters out there are just gonna paint sad, dull looking clouds. The biggest struggle with this painting is the mountain. Why, you ask? Because 9 times out of 10, your mountain will end up looking like a huge piece of crap floating in your sky. This mountain has multiple thick highlights and shadows, which means you have to get your paint breaks right, or you're just gonna have huge skid marks sliding down your mountain. If you don't fade out your mountain correctly, you will have a really hard time with your mid-ground layers sticking. Oh yeah, and speaking of sticking, you have multiple layers of trees and bushes on bushes and trees on bushes. So yeah, get ready to mud mix in this one and smear all those highlights. Waterfall in the Woods, Season 19, Episode 6. If you have never seen this painting, you are in for a real treat. Simply put, it is stunning. It's all about building up from soft to thick, dark to light, and thick to thin. And that last one there is where you might struggle. Actually, you know what? It is where you will struggle. While tapping in soft colors and building this surreal contrasting landscape is simplistic at first, it ramps up to 11 real fast. And it makes it even more difficult is that Bob makes it look so effortless, which, trust me, is a pitfall for you. How do I know? Because it was for me. You have to build multiple focal points, which is difficult. You have to build multiple mossy layers to stick and be natural, which is difficult. You have to build multiple valley layers, which is difficult. This painting right here is flat out tough, but whoo, oh mama, is it stunning. Number 7, Royal Majesty, Season 21, Episode 3. This one is hardest for rocks and mountains. I'm gonna say this is probably one of my favorite Bob Ross paintings of all time. It's super impressive and just elegant, and sadly, tough. I think this one is tough for anyone struggling with mountains and rock formations. The mountain is such a focal point in the painting, and if you mess it up, it simply just takes away from the rest of the painting. Plus, there are so many cliffs and highlight layers that you have to build on top of one another. And if you suck at building layers or getting your highlights to stick, this one will chew you up and spit you out. However, if you actually excel at those elements and assets in a painting, this one is a fantastic one to do. So you know what? Give it a shot. And if you nail it, like I said, this is one of the most impressive Bob Ross tutorials. I mean, at least I think so. What do you think? For number 6, we actually have a tie. We have Old Mill from Season 3, Episode 9, or Old Country Mill from Season 17, Episode 10. These right here are the toughest buildings in nature. This one is just a straight up tie, like I said. They're both hard for the same exact reasons. There are multiple background and midground layers that you have to build and separate out to build depth in your painting. There's also a lot of similar colors going on in this painting, which means it's very, very easy to mud mix, lose all that contrast in the painting, which will then make your painting look flat, dull, and quite simply, a big pile of poop. Now there's mills in both paintings, and you know what? Screw that. They're really, really, really hard, and I don't even think Bob did well with his. So what chance do you even have? I myself tried painting mills twice, and you know what? Those suckers would never pass inspection. Straight up condemned. So I'm sticking with what I said. When it comes to mills, screw that, and we're moving on. Hey, wild cutting in here real quick. If you like this type of video and you want to see more videos from me, you can help my channel and this community by doing a few simple things. Go down below, hit like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. If you truly find a lot of value in this video, you can hit the brand new super thanks and show your appreciation. And if you want to go above and beyond, you can become a YouTube channel member for the low, low price of $1. Thank you so much for watching the video, and now back to our top 5. Number 5, Campfire Season 3, Episode 10. This one makes the list for having a person in it. Bob even says at the beginning of the video, hey, let's get a little crazy.
You know, in every series there has to be a crazy day, and this is our crazy day. So we thought we'd do a painting that's really far out.
This right here is one of the most famous Bob Ross paintings, or perhaps most infamous Bob Ross paintings, for the sheer fact that it has that cowboy in it. But it's tough for other reasons too that people gloss over. First of all, it's not that difficult to make the sky and background campfire scene here. However, you spend all this time making trees just to blend over them. And I dare you to try and not make these trees look like smeared pieces of blobs all over your canvas. It is really difficult when it comes to blending them. All those thick layers will just bleed into the background looking like huge smeared blobs. While the bushes and grass layers and highlights aren't too difficult, there are a ton of them, which can lead to a lot of mud mixing, and you're probably gonna smush a lot of your layers if you're a beginning painter out there. And of course, we come to the part that we're all gonna fail at, that cowboy. Well, in all honesty, the cowboy isn't that tough, provided you go at it really slow when painting him, but trust me, you won't, and you'll mess it up, which will ruin your whole painting, and then you'll just want to toss it in the trash. And how do I know? Because that kind of happened to me. Number 4, Indian Summer, Season 21, Episode 9. This one has so many bushes and tree layers, so get ready to mud mix. If you like texture in your painting, this one is for you. However, it could also be your nightmare landscape as well. Indian Summer's all about layers on layers and colors on colors, which means you're on a trip to mud mixing town. Population, you. You start with these very simple, soft background trees that are in the distance. Okay, cool, not that tough, we got this. Now we have to build a layer of trees in front of that with a little bit more color and texture. All right, cool, we still got this, we can manage. Okay, now we have to do a third layer of thick bushes and trees with even thicker highlights on top of them. Yeah, okay, cool, Bob? Oh yeah, did I mention we're only halfway through the painting? Awesome, right? And oh yeah, since paint is so cheap, let's go ahead and add a 4th layer of thick bushes, because you know, why not? I mean, like, how can this painting get any harder? It does. Oh. Well, let's just go ahead and add a huge tree right on top of all the layers we just spent so much time building. I mean, like, legitimately. Ugh. Oh, after $300 of oil paint, a couple years off your life, and a few more gray hairs added into your hairline that may or may not be receding by this point, you have one amazing painting. No joke, this is one of my favorite ones that never gets talked about and no one ever references. Probably because by the time you're done painting it, you're broke. Number 3, Mountain by the Sea, Season 9, Episode 12. Here we have the hardest overall Bob Ross painting. While this isn't the most impressive Bob Ross beach painting, I would consider it the hardest beach painting. It literally has every difficult element and asset that you will see in a Bob Ross landscape. Got your checklist ready? Because here we go. Two-toned clouds? Check. Jagged mountains? Check. Ocean waves? Check. Rocks? Check. Thick bushes? Check. Big old tree? Check. This one painting has everything you will struggle with, making it one of the hardest Bob Ross paintings of all time. It literally tests all your Bob Ross skills. And for some of you, that actually would be a good thing. But, oh man, like literally, this gets you on everything. Oh, my heart breaks just thinking about it. Number 2, Night Light Season 3, Episode 8. This one right here is your hardest beach painting from Bob Ross. Just like one of our earlier examples, this painting has 2 moods. It's got light and dark, plus warm and cold. This means you'll be switching between colors a few more times than you're probably used to. The waves are challenging here because you have to make sure you keep them in the correct perspective. In the last painting example, you could make your waves almost as big as you wanted since it's in the foreground. But these background to midground waves, you need to keep them in check with the rest of your environment. And that's gonna be really difficult for new painters. Now, in all honesty, this one makes the list because of the lighthouse. It's not easy. It takes a confident straight hand so it doesn't come out wonky and sloping off your cliff. Most new painters are really gonna struggle with this one, but you know what? This one is actually one of my favorite Bob Ross paintings, and I would have to say it is also probably one of the most stunning and impressive ones. I mean, just look at this one. It gives off so many different feels and vibes and transitions, and it's got such an impressive style to it that it's a fun one to try. But like I said, difficult. Okay, time for number 1, and I'm curious, pause the video and I'd love to see what you think number 1 is. But here we go. Number 1, Mountain Challenge Season 4, Episode 13. This is the hardest palette knife painting. In fact, this is an entire palette knife painting. I'm not talking about just the clouds or mountains. This whole painting is done entirely with a palette knife, which is extremely impressive. Not much to say about this one, other than if you suck with the palette knife, your painting is also gonna suck, which most painters really are not adversed well with the skills of a palette knife. You're really gonna have a difficult time painting this one. Building palette knife layers is tough. Blending and fading those layers is even more tough. Making trees, super tough. And the toughest part of all, this painting will most likely cause you to go through a butt ton of paint. Even with all that said, it is a fun one to try and a great challenge, but it's hard as hell. This top 10 list is a great list for anyone that needs to avoid certain paintings from Bob Ross if you're starting out, or like I said, if you're looking for a challenge, try any one of these because it's a fun challenge. Now, if you're the type of person out there that wants to build your confidence and build up and looking for easy Bob Ross paintings to start with, you know what? Did a top 10, you can check that over to the right-hand side because I would love that and it's really gonna help you out. Wild wishing you the best of luck with your hard or easy Bob Ross paintings. And as always, thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time. Peace.